I support this petition just for today.
Senator Raila Odinga.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also stand to support the petition by my brother, Honorable Cherargei from Nandi. Mr. Speaker, I knew Jean Maria Serone personally, and he was a young, very, very astute lawyer who was representing Kenyans, not only Kenyans, but his people also very effectively in Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the law which detained Jean Maria Serone was passed in this Parliament. And when it was passed in Parliament, it was the law on detention without trial. Many members spoke very passionately in support of it. One of the people who spoke very passionately in support of that law was my own dad, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. They said that this law was meant to deal with the shifter menace in northern Kenya, and that innocent Kenyans needed not fear anything about that law, because it was just meant to deal with the shifter menace. But Mr. Speaker, before long, many of the people who spoke very passionately about it, including my own father, became the victims of the same law. Mr. Speaker, I can also tell you, Mr. Speaker, that statement which Honorable Halwale has quoted, which put Serone in trouble, was made by Martin Shikuku. It was Martin Shikuku who said, KANU, they want to kill Parliament the same way they killed KANU. And the leader of government business in the House stood up to say that that was a very serious statement, and that Honorable Shikuku must substantiate his statement. But Serone was sitting in the chair. He was the speaker that time. And Serone said, one cannot be called upon to substantiate the obvious. And that statement alone put him in a lot of trouble, Mr. Speaker. In fact, they had to hold themselves in the library here in Parliament because, the laws did not allow police to come in to Parliament and arrest members. So police and the police commissioner then was called Hinga. Hinga refused to come to send police to storm Parliament to arrest them. But then finally, the authorities that be said, even if they are still in the wombs of their mother, go and remove them and take them away. And they were indeed taken away, Mr. Speaker. And I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, that same law, when my father was arrested in 1969 and was still being held in his house, under house arrest in Kisumu, one of the parliamentarians here said that we should not have two presidents. One is being guarded in Kisumu by police and another one in Gatundu. We should only have one president. So that the Jaramogi should be removed and taken to prison where he belongs. But Mr. Speaker, the person who spoke passionately about it here in Parliament was again later, detained together with Serone. And Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, when we make laws, let us be very careful that we don't make laws thinking that we are making them for others. The same laws that you make will also be used against you. Mr. Speaker, so when you people are ordering police to lobby tear gas at us, be very careful. Those things could be used against against you. So don't be very happy that is happening, because it is not a good thing when you are choked by those the tear gas. It is not a good thing. It is poisonous. It can choke you and kill you. So this injustice which is being done to Honorable Serone is a historical injustice. And I support that something must be done to recover or even to compensate the family on this, because this is a historical injustice by the government. Whichever government it is by the government of Kenya. And the government of Kenya has a responsibility to compensate Serone for the sufferings and for suffering for his own idea. He was a prisoner of conscience. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mungatana.
Mr. Speaker, I want to also add my voice on the statement sought by the Honorable Cherargei in support of that statement. Mr. Speaker, if the executive that is currently in power desires to change the status quo